always talk about leadership, right? So I want to talk a little bit about um, aggressive leader, right? And kind of like how we perceive aggressive leader, how we perceive um, on how to correct, how to talk to, and most of the time
Mm-hmm.
when and I'm bringing this up because I was on a recently on a ship, and I uh, got talked to about this, and talked to about them being a aggressive leader, and people like pretty much don't know how to handle them, and then of course, in this situation, the person was black, and they
Yeah.
felt like they are aggressive. So it's kind of like the aggressive black person type, you know, angry black person type theory or whatever the case may
Mm-hmm.
be. Um, and the way the conversation was going and all that stuff, it they don't get mentorship from the
Mm-hmm.
chain of command because they scared to talk to them. They scared about how they will react. If you a leader out there and you scared how your sailor is going to react, you may be in the wrong business. You still have to mentor these sailors. People come to the Navy out of several different backgrounds, you know, and they're going to lead differently. Your thing is to let them know, okay, this is what I think you should do better. Sometimes they take it in, sometimes they don't. But you put your foot out there, dodging them because they're aggressive, right? Or whatever the case may be, is not the right answer, right?
Yeah.
Sending somebody else to do your thing, sending somebody else to talk to them because you don't want to talk to them as a leader, the
Mm-hmm.
wrong answer, right? And and then what is that? What is the angry black person? What is the aggressive leader? What is that? You know what I mean? What is that answer? Um, I broke it. I breaks it down in as this. Um, are you saying I'm aggressive because I go out there and I get stuff done? You saying I'm aggressive because I'm cursing everybody out and I'm disrespecting you? What is a aggressive leader? I don't understand that question and where it comes from, or the angry black person. What are we talking about? You know, and those are the type of questions I want to know because um, as leaders, you have to let me see what word I'm looking for. You have to evolve as a leader, right? So if I'm an E5 in the Navy and I'm aggressive and I'm doing this and I'm being a little bit disrespectful, who's gonna talk to that sailor? Who's gonna tell them they doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or they may be doing too much, they may be doing this? If you scared to talk to them, or you scared of what they may think or what they may say,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot lead sailors like that. Because how are they gonna evolve as a sailor if they don't know they doing something wrong?
Yeah.
You have to be able to sit down with that sailor and talk to him black, white, green, purple, and tell him the right and wrong on how you should approach things. Right now, if I'm a chief and I'm up there, I'm aggressive with the CO, somebody need to come talk to me and say, hey, I don't think that was the right approach. I think you should maybe do a little bit like, you know what I mean? Or something.
Yeah.
So if we're not talking to sailor, how are we gonna get better? You know what I mean? We're just gonna like move around them. We're gonna shift to the left. And when they come through the P way, we're gonna go right. Are we gonna go port side? We're gonna start. I mean, what we gonna do? You know, so for all my leaders out there, man, I want to know some stories out there or something, and know your opinion on it. What you think? This stereotype of being aggressive and the stereotype of being the angry black person. Like, what? I'm trying to find out what is that, and how we can
Mm-hmm.
move forward with that because I had a deep conversation about this on one of my ships. And I got pulled to the side and like really like talked about this. Like it was crazy.
Was it a man or a woman?
It was a female.
Okay. So
And I'm
that's even more.
yeah,
That's another stereotype.
yeah,
People
and I'm gonna
have
tell
that.
you this, yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this right here though. Got shit done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got my Bravo Zulus. You know what I'm saying? In my little report or whatever, man. Getting shit done. Um, but it's like crazy to me that you know you can send somebody else to talk to this sailor was like throwing me off, man. Like what's going on with leaders though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand that, man. And what's going on? What's your thoughts on that?
A few. One of them I should have took some notes. One of them is about just emotional maturity. I don't think a lot of people like have it. Like, so I don't think a lot of people can handle being pressed about certain things, or especially in public. I think that's the case. My example is in public, because if scenarios play out different in public and in private, like almost every time. If you get challenged by somebody in public, a lot of times your response is completely different if that same person challenges you in private. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a lot of times, especially at work in the Navy, where I've been challenged in public, and I might not even have a response, like as far as with that energy. So
Yeah,
I wait till we get somewhere in private, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, and then I
no
bring
doubt.
it back up. Like, hey, you
Yep.
brought this up, here, like, what's going on, you know what I'm saying, and it's a different conversation in private. Now we could work it out. We could talk through it. It's different things where somebody was like really riled up, in public. But I think on the other side of that coin, as leaders, sometimes when people get challenged by sellers in public, they don't really have an approach to how to, first of all, like, calm the situation down and then take it somewhere else and then have that same conversation. And when I mean by, and I don't mean challenge by like aggressively challenge, or like disrespected or whatever. That's why I'm talking about emotional maturity. Like, some things challenge people that you wouldn't even know was a challenge to them. Like, I've challenged people as a first class with things, and they talk to me about it later. Like, that wasn't okay that you did it, and it was things that I just would never have even thought like was challenging. Like, it was ideas. So you get these sellers that might have these strong opinions or strong personalities, and they might be doing something that somebody else considers like disrespectful,
Yeah.
that they didn't even know was disrespectful. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
we had a first class on here recently, and when we were talking to her, and I'm like, it was times where she would say something to me in front of like another junior seller, and the other seller would like make like a weird face, like, damn, you like said that to chief. And it's like, I wasn't even like I didn't feel any way about it. Like, then I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, Dak, should I be like, I tell my sellers now, like, when you come talk to me, if it's, I'm like, if you have a problem or an issue, like, let's have a decent way of having a conversation, but
Yeah.
talk to me. I don't want you to feel like you can't, like, because then you get sellers like her who,
Yeah.
now this the other part of that you get to when these kind of things happen. Because now we're talking a little bit about the way people brought up cultures, race, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if I don't let you talk to me, you get sellers that feel like they can't talk to you. And then the first thing they probably gonna do is, and I don't know what comes first all the time, right? But what's probably gonna happen is that person gonna gravitate to the person that they look the most like, and
Mm-hmm.
and talk to that person and feel like
Reality.
that's the person that they could confide in or whatever like that. So then you get this weird separation of sellers feeling like they can only get mentor, and I see it a lot, especially with, and this might really strike. And I really want my junior sellers to listen to this, but like that they feel like they could really strike a like kind of relate to. So you get the black seller wanting to talk to that black chief that they feel like
Yeah.
they really could relate to,
Yeah.
right? And then sometimes what happens there is like, when these things happen, you have a culture. Y'all got a way y'all talk. Y'all got a way y'all kind of act and laugh and chat. Y'all got things y'all kind of both were brought up kind of seeing. So then another seller might see you that's of a different culture, different race, and then as a chief, a leader, and I know we're not talking about leader, but as a chief, a leader, they might think that you play in favorites because of
Mm-hmm.
the way they think you might have a bond with that other seller or
Yeah.
whatever like that. Whereas really y'all just have cultural kind of similarities. So then that would make those sellers go to the people that they relate to the most. So then you get a bunch of people like isolated and not able to get leadership from really good leaders. And then those perceptions that we always talk about leaders and high perception and all of that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and I'm not saying in her case, but sometimes that stuff is self-induced. Like, sometimes we didn't had 1 to 2 to 3 experiences where something happened. So now we built up an opinion
Yeah.
about something that's not always true. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I've been to way too many places with a bunch of different, groups of chiefs, and we got white guys, we got black guys, women, men, and like the black person gravitated toward me.
Yeah.
Came
Yeah.
and talked to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when they was talking to me, sometime it was that same kind of conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, this happening, and boom. I've seen like leaders that like I've seen like white male chiefs with black sailors. Like, yo, he always come talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
he don't talk to me. He don't come talk to me. He always come and talk to you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now, some of that is a matter of making yourself approachable too. It's like that's like a super complicated kind of thing. And I'm trying to get all my thoughts out or whatever. But some of that is a matter as a leader of like making yourself approachable and maybe, opening yourself up to that emotional, more of that emotional maturity and being able, like, not everybody talk the same. I had
Yeah.
this thing where like when I was young, like it was certain things I don't really joke around with or whatever, and like because not everybody joke the same. You know what I'm saying? So like growing up in Philly, our jokes used to be harsh. Like
Yeah.
you might fight. It might like somebody else might want to fight you if you joke the way that you would joke in Philly. So when I first got into the Navy, like it would be like I would have to be closer to somebody, and it's still to this day, even as a senior chief. Like when me and you do this podcast, I'm comfortable, with you. We could
Yeah.
joke around. It's still certain. I know it's certain limitations to the way that we would joke, but people
Yeah.
that know me. The only thing I was going to talk more about this on our anniversary, but I like people now know, like they joke, like now know about my sense of humor and stuff. Now I think more because of the podcast. Like
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more reserved in those public, kind of places for a
Yeah.
lot of those reasons. Like people that grow up differently, so sometimes they might not get each other. So whereas like this black woman somebody might think this black woman is coming off like aggressive, but that's just who she is. You know what I'm saying? That's just who
Yeah.
she is as a person. And me being me, I got some black women now, that work for me, and like I've grown up around black women my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I know what buttons to push. I know what's sensitive. I know what's insensitive. I know how to joke around with them to make them laugh or whatever like that. So a lot of those differences I think are sometimes like cultural differences. And
Yeah.
I'm saying emotional, people need to be a little bit more emotionally mature, because I think people's feelings get hurt, especially in the Navy, way
Yeah.
more than like they let them off, like they let it off to be, like they feelings get
Yeah.
hurt or
Yeah.
whatever. Especially as leaders, I hope some of that made sense, because I know
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like mangled and jumbled, but I hope
Yeah.
some of that made some kind of sense, because I think it's on the hands of everybody. I
Yeah.
think it's on the hands of everything. I think it's on the hands of us, like us as black chiefs. Oh, what you about to say?
No, 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 no. You on the right. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Go.
I think us as black chiefs, when we do go places and those black sailors like gravitate to us or whatever, I think sometime like, man, yo, damn, yo, this is about to hit. But I think sometime like we take that shit on and like run with it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And we don't push them out to their own. Some. This just
Yeah. Yeah.
me kind of
That's
being honest
facts.
in my
That's
observation.
facts.
Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
don't push them out to their own chiefs.
Yeah.
Like, yo, talk to
Yeah.
your chief, trust your chief. We take like, man, these, I grew up like this. I want to help this seller. Boom, boom, boom. We went through this, and we never being like, yo, talk to your chief. Like, give your chief the opportunity to, listen to this.
Yeah.
Fortunately, in some of these situations, even with FCA1, I would be like, hey, did you talk to your chief, stuff like that. But sometimes we don't do that. Like we want
Yeah.
to help, we want to be leaders, we want to do this, do that. We get real greedy or
Yeah.
whatever like that, and then that makes people, that creates a lot of animosity in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when somebody just keep coming up to you and not going to somebody else, then they think that they can only talk to you, and that's not
Yeah.
always the case.
Yeah.
So that's the case. That's the case. I think on our side is like black chiefs. I think, and because we only talk now, this whole angry person, it could be any race, anybody, but in this
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
it's a black
Yeah.
woman that we talking about. On the side of the other side of the coin, what whoever the chief she might be talking to, um I think it's opening up. You know what I'm saying? You might have to touch your limitations with the way that these words you feel like are coming out. A lot of that
Yeah.
stuff is not like intentionally like, disrespectful, but it's a different way than uh, from based off my experience and what I've seen. Um, in every conversation I've ever had, a black woman and a white woman, they talk, and I don't know why I feel like I'm walking on eggshells in this conversation, but like I would have a different conversation with a white woman than a black woman, from tone to expression to a lot of different things, because
Yeah.
the culture, like everything, like they're different. Like we're all different. So as a white man who might be used to talking to white women, through the way that you was brought up and all of that stuff, some of that way, them tones and some of them expressions, some of that stuff from that black woman might be like, oh, what, like, is this an attitude? Is this, that a lot of it might not be, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And if you come to my, like even the difference between my family and like me and the way I talk to my mom and, my wife and the way her and her mom interact, you know what I'm saying? And which I love everybody I'm talking about to death, but me and my mom or me and my brother or me and my like best friends, we could have an aggressive conversation, like a debate. You know what I'm saying? Crazy, hardcore, like, especially like with my friends and stuff like that, like the highest tones of ours, but we love each other. Like me and my brother, I remember we went through this whole phase where like 20 minutes at the beginning of our conversation was like an argument. You know what I'm saying? Then we get in, hey, but how you doing, man? We love each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
that's the different. It's
Yeah.
different differences in different cultures. Now, as that seller, right?
Yeah.
And some of this stuff people gonna want to hear. Some of this stuff people might hate to hear. In either way, as that seller now, have we closed the door on approaching the other people because of what they did to us? You know what I'm saying? Have we closed the door, or have we had that conversation, or do we invite? I remember like like trying to like forcefully tell somebody that I was approachable. It's the weirdest thing ever, but I'm like, I am approachable. Like, it's like, yo, like,
Yeah.
dude, like right now you're not, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I remember having that, but it's like, did we close the door? Have we sat down and expressed that? Like, hey, I don't want you to feel like, and then what happens when we do take that criticism? Have we evaluated what happens after we do take that feedback, or what has happened in the past after we did take that feedback? That would make somebody think that we couldn't take feedback. Now, that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes nothing happened and the person just can't take feedback. And that's wrong. That's not right. That's not always the case. But have we ever saw how we did respond to feedback or whatever like that? And I'm not in no way, shape, or form am I trying to tell a black woman to come across different. You know what I'm saying? That's how that's how we brought up. That's how
Yeah.
we come across or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But
Now,
it could have. What's up?
yeah. Um, and this is not about like who's right and who's wrong. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
no.
yeah, it's the fact that, you know, angry, like what really is that? And this is two sides to every story too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to look into all that. But my bottom line situation when I look at this is we have to get to a point though. You know what I mean? We can't ignore it. If something's going
Yeah.
on and you can't do this, you can't do it, you can't ignore that. You can't be effective if you do ignore it.
It's a touchy.
It's
It's a
it's
touchy
touchy.
topic.
It's touchy, but I feel like it has to be touched on though. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I had a situation where something happened and I was way out of my swim lane. But I had to touch that situation though. It's
Right,
way out
right,
of my swim lane. But if I didn't touch it, I feel like I was like you said, walking on eggshells. And I don't walk on
right.
eggshells, man. Like I don't do negativity. I don't do any of that stuff. So I felt like I had to have a sit down and talk about this situation because um I talk to everybody.
Uh,
I talk to everybody. If I feel like I am being ignored, I'm being like no one is listening to what I'm saying, and normally we have a good conversation, now we don't no more. I gotta
mm-hmm.
address that. You know what I mean? Like I have to like talk about that and
Yeah,
find out the root of it, because that's not what I want though. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I feel like as leaders though, the conversation has to be had. Every conversation you have as a leader is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a
yeah,
great. It may be an ugly conversation. It may be whatever, but the conversation has to be had, and it has to be a resolution to that conversation. It has to be hashed out some kind of way so you
Yeah.
guys can move forward. You can't move forward without having a team behind you. You cannot be a great leader without having a great team behind you that's ready to, like we say, run through a brick wall for you. You know,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
have to. What?
what's up? No, I was
That's
gonna.
what.
I'll give you two. I got two examples. I got a junior seller that's black woman who I think most people thought like she had an attitude. Like she was like had always had an attitude. She's like one of the most professional people I know. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
She's just matter of fact. She's just like super matter of fact though. She not doing extras. Like she not there to laugh, joke. And I mean, I always get a kick out of like making her laugh. Like she,
Yeah.
she laugh. But like she does like I've never seen an attitude ever. Like it's just a matter of fact. I'm not giving you extra happy. I'm not giving you super sappy. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm working. What can I do for you? I'm gonna do it. It's done. Right. So that's that case. Now I'm gonna talk about a woman officer who we love and respect. Um, it was people who thought that too, and I'm like, So I remember one time I interrupted her from something one day. Right. I like she's in the middle of something, and I interrupt her from something. And I'm like, hey man, I know I'm interrupting you. You know what I'm saying? Like try to, And she's like, yeah, I'm in the middle of something. I get with you when I'm done. Right. Meanwhile, this thing that I think is like the most important thing in my world or whatever, like she don't even know what I'm presenting. I still try to say, something else. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
she's like, I told you I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
I get with you when I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was like she did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? When I left for a second, I'm like, man, like she just pushed me away. But she did nothing wrong. She told me
Yeah.
exactly everything that was, and as you develop and you really start to understand people and you do start to sit with them and talk to them, you understand those kind of moments. Like, but she told me everything I needed to know at that moment in time. And
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
it was the
Hey,
exact thing. And I
that
got
happened to me
mad
too,
love
man. That happened
from
to me
her.
too.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, right? From her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
right. And she
But
listened,
anyway,
she listened to
but
she listened
yeah.
to us and stuff
But
like
I
that.
but I even got, like, to tell you the truth, when I was told this, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, when I was told this and I walk away and I'm walking away, I got even more respect
Yeah, right.
for that
Yeah, yeah.
person. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? For that person, because you know how people try to, no, I'm focused on something right now. I'm trying to get this little bit done. Then I come talk to you so you can have my
Yeah.
uninvited attention. You know what I mean? That's what it was about.
And
It
that's
wasn't a,
it.
yeah, that's what it was
Right.
about.
That's it.
Yeah,
No
man.
emotions. I'm the one with the emotions. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what am I getting? Like, this is exactly what I need to know when I need to know it, or whatever, like that. And that's not to veer off topic, but that's how I look at like customer service too. Like,
yeah,
I look at it a few ways. Like, if you do customer service or whatever, work at wherever. Like, what I think about when I used to work at Wendy's, I didn't do nothing extra. I said everything I was supposed to say the exact way I was supposed to say it. I give you your change, you get your food, and you get up out of here. Right? I
yeah.
didn't do anything extra, but I did exactly what I'm supposed to do, or whatever, like that. And that's so now when I go places, I think good customer service. I think is the people that do extra. I do think it's the people that do extra. Like, hey, how are you doing? They want to start a conversation with you. But I also think good customer service is that precise person that understands the assignment and does exactly what it is they need to do, nothing more, nothing less. I'd be like, tag, that was proficient. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's my. Hopefully, we made some sense
Yeah.
out of that. And
Yeah, man. Yeah.
yeah,
And most definitely would love for more conversation, more feedback about that, man. Because it's a big topic for me, and I love having these conversations, man. Especially with you, man, because you have a good perspective on a lot of
yeah,
stuff, when it comes to this. So, if anybody out there, want to add to this or want to get on and talk to us about it, I love these type of conversations, especially about leadership, especially about different types of leadership. People, everyone have different types of leadership and how they lead people. And man, my only concern is that um at the end of the day, you guys are everybody's working as a a team, because that's what you need in the
mhm.
Navy. You need a team. You can't do it by yourself.